Hard Forkers, and welcome back, Baloo. Always good to have you here, sir.
Always a pleasure.
Can I ask you how you're feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I did test positive for COVID, and mild case. Very grateful for that, and I'm on the mend. I've got my secret hot tea with honey here, secret recipe.
Sorry, we're getting a little feedback here. I think that could be. There we go. Let me pause that. So welcome along, viewers. I can see some familiar names starting to join us. Many from our Axie Infinity community, which you're now firmly a part of, Baloo.
Yes.
You got in there at a pretty bloody good time.
Yeah, I feel like everything was kind of pricey when I got in, but things really started to shoot up after that. I feel like I got in at a pretty darn good time.
Yeah,
AXS tokens up like 150% in the last week at least.
More. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look, actually. I did a show with Stefano yesterday, and we looked at the weekly change. So let's just do that again. Right. So what do we got? Well, let's go 24-hour change, actually. See who's done what. There we go. If you watched my show yesterday, I said I thought Rev would make a move, Axie Infinity and the Sandbox. So I'm a freaking genius, quite clearly, because they're all up well over 20%. And in Rev's case, 31. Axie, 195% on the week, mate.
Yeah. Fabulous.
My goodness. Yeah. Nearly 4% in the last hour.
We discussed the breakout on our last show, talking about how if we left the channel, we'd probably see higher levels. I wasn't expecting levels this high, though.
No. Yeah. So, clearly, this is maybe a good sort of discussion point to kick off with. How, when we're charting this, you understand the fundamentals of this. You're in there, you're using it, you're giving away scholarships to many of the audience here. You're involved in the game. There's clearly FOMO that's sort of plowed in. So to what degree, when you're looking at a chart with that sort of fundamental knowledge of a project, how does that differ from looking at a chart where you might not even know anything about the project? Can you give us your thoughts on that, maybe to kick the show off?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I think a chart can show you, a chart is just 100% pure information. It's just unbiased, truthful information. And a chart can show you what the market thinks of any asset, anything in this world that has a chart. The market can show you what it thinks of that thing. Where it is more important inside of crypto is if you see a healthy chart, if you see a healthy trend, if you see something bullish, you need to strategize how you want to handle that asset. And your strategy may change if you deem it to be, a poop coin, or if you deem it to be a high quality project. Your strategy will change. Your strategy will fluctuate a lot with that. So when I'm looking at the chart, like I can just flick through the charts and until I find something that looks structurally nice. And then I look at, okay, well, what is it? What are they doing? Blah, 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 blah. And how do I want to trade it? So, in the case of something like a bullish setup in something like Dogecoin, I'll take the trade. If it looks like a bullish trade, I can get in and I got a bullish setup and we have follow through and it's moving up. Yeah, I'll take that trade, but I'm not going to hold it. As soon as it, goes against me, we're done. We're done here. I don't care about you. But, when we're in something a little bit more fundamentally sound, well, then maybe, my risk tolerance for the reactions of how it goes down and how it goes up might be different. I'd be willing to take some of the downside if I'm more fundamentally sound on that project.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, I see some of my scholars in the chat here. Maybe can you just remind me? Are you needing a new QR code? Or are you still waiting on the team? I've been offline for a few days, guys. Not sure if you've noticed that in the Discord, but yeah, back on top of things. So I'll make sure my scholars are all up and running tomorrow. Also creating a number of new teams. Which I will give away on the Friday show. How are you? How are you getting on with your scholarship program, Baloo?
I have given away every Axie I have.
Oh, really?
And I'm in. My bottleneck is SLP now, so I'm just waiting for the scholars to kind of grind some SLP so that I can breed some more Axies, so that I can offer up some more teams. I should have some more teams by the 15th, maybe by the 15th, but definitely I'll have a surplus of scholarships by the end of the month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, guys. As I say, I had a bit of a family issue to tend to. So if you can just let me know. Also, just please send me a DM if you need a new QR code. Just trying to get back on top of things. So please send that through, and I'll see if I can get that sorted tonight for you guys. Where do you want to start, Baloo? Shall we? Let me just have a look. I'm actually in a trade, an ETH trade at the moment. Let's see what's going on with that.
Yeah, we can take a look at Ethereum if you'd
like. Here we go. What's happening? Okay, so I entered it $2,200, $7. My margin 0.6 ETH, up 35% on the trade. Any thoughts now? I'm not really sort of playing a particular time frame here. So how would you approach this position that you see that I'm currently in, Baloo?
Well, I mean, I would, when you're looking at something like the 1 minute, volume.
Oh, no, as I say, I'm not trading off a 1 minute chart here.
Okay.
This is more of a, it's a swing trade. I think I entered this 2 days ago. It's popped up and down on me, so there have been opportunities to come in and out of it. But I'm trying to figure out whether we are going to break out. I mean, to me, obviously, most of this is really based off what Bitcoin's doing. So, it's a case of, can we get above 36K? Is really the way that bizarrely I'm approaching my ETH trade. If I see Bitcoin reject that 35.5, 36K region, I'll exit this trade. Is my thinking. But any thoughts on that? Bizarre that I'm basing my ETH trade on what Bitcoin's doing, but it's how I'm playing it.
It's not bizarre. This market's very correlated. I think you can, pick a handful of coins and they all go up at the same time. They all go down at the same time. Yeah. So I'll just do a quick screen share and show you a few points of interest that I'm looking at here.
Let me just do a really quick shill there as well. BYBIT don't pay us, people, but anyone that is trading on the platform via our link, we get a small commission of your trading fees. Doesn't cost you anything. So if you are a trader and you're using any of those platforms, please support Baloo and I. We do this for free for you. So link below. Check it out. There's a bunch of sign-up bonuses as well. Okay, so maybe I just saw your message there. I'll send you a QR code when we finish the stream so you can get back in the game. Especially when you see SLP booming like it is. I'm sure you want
my. Yeah. SLP. Yeah, we're going to have to cover that one as well. Yep. So if you'll allow me to share my screen here.
That's the other problem with the software. I've got to actually do that.
Yeah, you got to actually press
multitasking, mate. And I don't even have code. I get confused.
We're in this sideways trading consolidation here. I mean, our trading range is basically, if we're looking at our trading range, we're looking at this. I like the local range that we're in right now because we're making local higher highs and higher lows. There's a little bit of bullishness in the market. I'm not getting overly excited, but we are making higher highs and higher lows. There's an area of interest for me inside of the trading range that I would like to see hold. And that's if you take a look at this down bar here, where we kind of really started to heat up and actually went through the bottom of the trading range. I'm going to mark down that line right here, or mark down that level right here. I'm going to drag that across, and this was providing a little bit of resistance here. We did get above, we went back below, and now we're above again, and we're holding. If we can hold this level of approximately 22.5, 2,250, hold that level, I would not be surprised to see us go for a retest of the top of the range. If we do break out of the top of the range, I think that's it. I think that's the consolidation, and we can kind of move on to some higher levels, and we can continue on with the trend. If we take a look at it on the daily using the alphanumerics indicator, we can see the momentum beginning to curl to the upside. So, oops, deleted something. I want my volume. We can see the momentum begin to curl to the upside. Oh, out of practice here. And we're sitting on top of our major support here. So these moving averages are beginning to cross. Whenever there's a cross, there's usually a little bit of a move. Whether or not the move sustains itself is an entirely different thing. But, you know, at least at the moment of the cross, you're going to get a little bit of bullish price action. If it sustains, then it could rally and maybe even, you know, go and break out some of the highs. But we're really going to need Bitcoin to play along with that plan.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to hang in there on that trade.
Non-financial advice.
You're allowed to give me advice, mate. We're friends.
All right.
Yeah. Just yeah. Okay. Yeah, so what else should we have a look at before we sort of get into more of a fundamental chat and look at some news? Obviously, AXS.
Yeah. Let's take a look at AXS and SLP. You know, a lot of the Axie community is watching. They probably want to have some feedback on what it looks like in the technicals here. So let's just cover off some of that stuff. So we basically got the breakout as soon as we were able to overcome this large red bar. Yep. As soon as we got above that level, that was the breakout, and we've been continuing to the upside ever since. Typically, these areas get a retest. Now, we're talking $6.60. I don't see that as feasible at this point because we are on such a large extension. So a retest of the $6.60 level, it's not impossible. It's just a little less likely at this point. So it's not a target that I'm looking to be a buyer at. More realistically, I would be a buyer back here at around $8 if we do, because we're on a hell of an extension here. This is a large extension. So if you are in this trade, you haven't taken profits, and you got down when we first made the call down at around $5, $6, then you may potentially want to take some profits. We got 2 take profit signals on the indicator. So it's in confluence in that on the high time frames on the daily. I would love to see it come back down to $8. If this is in fact the top, I think that's in confluence with the 0.5 fib. So let's see what a fib retracement gives us on that. Yeah, that'd be right around the 0.5 fib, which is a good retracement level for kind of a healthy crypto trend. So we're going to have to see. Maybe this is the top. Maybe it's not. Maybe it just keeps going. I did have one of my private group members mention or did a point and figure count, a point and figure analysis on AXS, and he was able to come up with targets anywhere around 1625 to 1350, something like that. So we're kind of at the lower end of his target range right now, whereas the higher end would be around 16. Now, me personally, I would anticipate a ton of supply to come in at $15. If we hit $15, I think that'll be it. I think that's a very large psychological level. 16 might be pushing it. It's very possible that we're pretty much there, at least for now. We do need a little bit of a consolidation and a cool down to get a continuation on this.
Mm. Yeah, X Infinity certainly. I'm just seeing it everywhere across every media outlet now. It's quite funny. I mean, as you know, we've been following it for about a year now, right from its inception. So it's fantastic to see our community grow around the project. Real use case of blockchain. I think a lot of the big investment firms are clearly looking at it as well. I'll just share this with you quickly. Where are we? This is from tokenterminal.com. We can see this is a 30-day chart, the top dApps in the blockchain world. And here we go. Here's Axie Infinity down here. This is the revenue from the protocol. It's just dwarfing all these others. Big names here as well. MakerDAO, PancakeSwap, MetaMask, SushiSwap, Synthetic Curve, Axie are absolutely on a tear at the moment. Many of you watching know why. It's a really well structured game, protocol. Love the community. So, yeah, long may it continue, people. And I've certainly got a bunch more teams. We'll be doing the live stream Friday. So if you are looking for a scholarship, keep supporting us here. Make sure you get over and support Baloo as well. Link below to his YouTube channel. Show him some love, people. Okay. So SLP, how do you chart that, though? I mean, is that sort of a special use case? Yeah, I mean, give us your thoughts on that. It's not something I've really ever looked at a chart on, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, SLP, I mean, you can look at any chart and you can see when it's bullish and when it's bearish. And I preferred SLP flat, but we can take a little bit of a premium. What I'm worried about is these assets becoming overinflated. So,
Yeah.
If SLP goes to, let's say, 25 cents per SLP, that is going to kind of give a little bit of pressure, I would think, to the Axie Infinity team to maybe change the reward structure, because, it can't be so profitable that, you can make, a buck a game or a buck in SLP. I don't think is a realistic thing. It would be too profitable. So you would get everything would be overinflated. So I don't want to see the SLP get too expensive. I also don't want to see the AXS get too expensive either, because these Axies, they can only get to so much of a price before, nobody wants to buy them anymore. I already feel like the Axies are really expensive. So if there's people out there that are thinking, AXS token will get to $100, AXS token, I don't see getting to $100 if it's still required, where you still require 4 of them to breed. If we start to really increase the value of AXS, the team's going to have to do something, whether it's dropping the breeding fee or whatever, whatever the case may be. You can't be spending this much money to breed an Axie every single time. So it's an interesting dynamic where the market is interfering with this kind of clean economy, in this clean crypto economy. So we'll have to see how it kind of plays out. I think that the extension we're seeing here will kind of stabilize. My guess would be it would stabilize somewhere around 15 cents. We might get a peak up to 25 cents, but I think it might stabilize around 15 cents. And I would like to see the AXS token probably stabilize around 10. I think that those are sustainable numbers where the team isn't going to have to interfere with the tokenomics at all. And, we want predictability. Me as a manager, I want predictability. I want to be able to depend on my plan moving forward for developing teams, breeding Axies. Like I like that the ecosystem was stable and I was able to plan. So if those plans go to shit because the things are overvalued and manipulated by the market, or the market is just, overinflating them, then that could cause some issues and some volatility that we don't necessarily want inside of the ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're curling up. we'll see if we break out above 25 cents. We'll see, but
Mm.
it's very weird because there's a ton of supply pressure in this asset.
Yeah.
It's burned a lot, but
How
it's
many
printed
scholars
a lot.
have you currently got, Blue?
I've got 17 scholars right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't
went.
muck around.
No, I didn't muck around. I went for it. It's like, well, if the bottleneck's going to be SLP, then I better start pumping them out.
Right. And
Yeah.
is it some of our community that's helped you find the people there, or? Yep.
Yeah. Genitrude has been a fantastic help. I actually started a little side server exclusively for those who are going to be our scholars, as well as some who are, in line to get a scholarship. So
Yep.
we've got a small, very word of mouth and somewhat
Yep.
trusted, I hope it's trusted community where we're going to try and offer these scholarships to them.
Awesome. She's actually in the chat here at the moment. Hey, Jazzy.
Jazzy.
We're keeping you busy.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep you even busier, Jazzy. I'm filling in my spreadsheet at the moment. So once again, I apologise to the gentleman who's waiting on the team from me. You'll have that tomorrow. And the new actually, have you had any issues with these QR codes? I've had some of my scholars that haven't been able to play because they need new QR codes. Have you encountered that problem at all?
Yeah, so the QR codes are quite finicky. When you just copy the QR code itself and paste it into Discord, it doesn't
Yeah.
seem to work. So you have to
Ah.
actually take a screenshot of a QR code and send it that way. It's kind of gotten to the point where I'm just giving out logins and passwords so that I don't have to do the QR codes. It's still safe as long as you're in control of the
only work
wallets.
with laptop, don't they? Can they still log into the mobile version that way? They can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's all web based, so they can do it on the
Right.
on the mobile. So I've just stopped giving out QR codes, and I don't know what the risk is associated with that, but it's nice.
Well, no, from your point of view, there's no risk. No one. Hey,
Yeah.
so what I'll do to my scholars as well, I'll send you those logins along with the screenshot now as well, because it's pretty. I know it's frustrating for me having to redo everything, but it's even worse for the people wanting to play. So apologies once again there. I'll get on top of that. So yeah, as far as other charts go, what do you got for us? What do you want to have a look at?
Yeah, one that kind of grabbed my attention recently. It's more so just a momentum play that I saw on the Bitcoin chart, and that's here. Let me pull up my screen here. I'm a big fan of FTX. I really, really love that exchange. I think it's the better exchange out there. You just gotta click me on. I took it off, Sean.
Sorry. Yeah.
No worries. So we got a nice consolidation. It looks as though there's a potential for us to bounce off of support here. What I really like, or what grabbed my attention on this most recent move with FTT token, was just this bar. Really strong. It came out of nowhere. Just all of a sudden, we have, I would almost interpret this as a sign of strength. So the sign of strength came in, and we got, the volume is not great. We're not seeing a ton of demand, but the price action is at least giving us a setup that is tradable. We're looking to get some bullish crosses on the EMAs. We're potentially lining up to break out of the channel. Now, I'm not, we're going to have to wait and see if we actually get out of the channel. If we get out of the channel, then it's going to be a fantastic setup. But yeah, I just love this bar. This is a sign of strength all in its own. Is just how easily the price was able to move on FTT token. So I'm going to watch this one. If I can, actually, I'm looking to enter this trade because as soon as we got above this one, right, this down bar here, when we close, it's going to be a confirmation for me that we're at least above the midline and it becomes tradable for me. So a little bit riskier because, it's better to get the confirmation once you leave. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see us leave. And, the demand on the FTT token is still there. You get rewards, you get discounts on your trading fees, you get 0% maker fees. So there's a lot of benefits to this token, which is going to drive the demand side. I like FTX, so that's one token that I'm looking at, but it's not a sexy blockchain or anything like that. It's just a glorified rewards point system.
part of the Solana ecosystem, right?
No, it is. Well, no, I think it's an ERC20 token. It's just the FTX equivalent of BNB.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm confused, because FTX is owned by Sam Breitman. I always get his name wrong. Freud.
Bankman-Fried. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's Solana as well, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's available on both blockchains. I think it was originally released as a ERC20. I think it's on Ethereum. I think it's on Solana. But yeah, he's not the creator of Solana. He's just adopted Solana. He's working alongside, I forget the creator of Solana, but they're working very hand in hand.
Okay.
He created Serum.
Right. Now, just talking about exchanges, the other one I just want to give a mention to here, people, is CoinFlex. I am going to do a proper review of this, but yeah, I mean, these guys have a whole heap of functionality: spot, swap, future spread. Now they've got a repo market, which I'm, to be honest, I'm still wrapping my head around. I just did another training session with the guys. Effectively, is they are the only ones doing that, but they also had the first interest-bearing stable coin. So I'm just trialing that out at the moment, and I'm getting just under 7% return on that. So it's quite interesting for me. So do check out coinflex.com, people, if you're looking for passive income that's maybe a bit not as risky as some of the other investments out there. I'm pretty happy with the team behind that, how it's performing for me so far. But as we're actually seeing the yield on these stable coins really fall away quite dramatically, which is one of the reasons I think projects like Axia are starting to do even better than they were doing. People, there's obviously a great yield in that at the moment. So any thoughts around sort of stable coins in general, and other places you're looking for yield?
Just from a yield point of view, well, I think stable coins are essential. They're an essential stepping stone to adoption inside of this ecosystem. When you have a DeFi protocol like Aave or Compound, and you add a stable coin, now you have a high interest savings account. So I think as far as real world application and adoption of blockchain technology and decentralized finance, stablecoins are essential. Whether that is the case forever, I don't know. The goal of Bitcoin is to one day be the world's currency. So in that circumstance, we won't have dollars, but baby steps. We got to take one step at a time. And I think that there are some very interesting smart contracts out there that can provide some fantastic fair yields out there. When you take the bank out, you get to keep the bank's cut. So it's really, really profound what you can do with these decentralized protocols now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've obviously seen sort of Binance in the news here. A lot of regulatory bodies going up, not necessarily going after them at the moment, but just making it very difficult for their citizens to use. We've had the UK stop its citizens using Binance. So yeah, I mean, look, for me, it'd be good to have a bit of a chat with you on the merits of Bitcoin and Ethereum now, Baloo. This is quite an interesting article that's just come out today. Let me bring that up. Goldman Sachs, not that I really give much credence to a lot of what these big investment banks have to say about crypto. They've been shitting on it for so long. All of a sudden, they're telling us they're experts. But yeah, so Goldman have put a report out basically saying that Ethereum could overtake Bitcoin as a store of value. Now we've actually had Alex Majeski, if I'm getting his name correct, basically say that he feels that Ethereum's already flipping Bitcoin. There's been more adoption of, or people are using Ethereum more on the Celsius platform than Bitcoin. We've actually got more Bitcoin wallets as of a few days ago than Bitcoin. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think Ethereum could become the store of value over Bitcoin? How do you compare the two assets? Personal question, you don't have to answer, but is your portfolio more in favor of Ethereum or Bitcoin? There
I
you
would
go.
say
It's
my
just one
portfolio
question.
is
I'll
definitely structured in favor of Bitcoin. But I'm also by no means a Bitcoin maximalist. I understand that Ethereum is superior in a lot of different ways. I think that Bitcoin is a currency, and I think that Ethereum is an internet. And I think that they're very different things, and they serve different purposes. And I think that a store of value is probably better suited to Bitcoin, at least in terms of something that is directly correlated against inflation. You know, in Ethereum, especially when we go to ETH 2.0, yes, there's going to be staking, there's going to be burning, there's going to be, you know, the liquidity in the middle that's constantly fluctuating, but that's just it. It's going to be constantly fluctuating. So it's going to really take a lot longer to get to something that's stable, that is a reflection of a counterforce like inflation, whereas Bitcoin is a lot more predictable and the math makes more sense. So to me, I think in terms of just that direct correlation against inflation, I think Bitcoin is going to be the better store of value. Whatever your interpretation of store of value is, could be another thing too. You know, to me, a store of value is something that's correlated against other forces inflating. To somebody else, a store of value may be something that's just, you know, I put my money in here and I get rich. And then there's an entire spectrum of, you know, interpretations of store of value in between. So I think for me, Bitcoin is going to be the store of value, but I also think that Ethereum is going to overtake Bitcoin in market cap. It's going to overtake Bitcoin in adoption. It's going to overtake Bitcoin in every aspect, because if Bitcoin is a currency and if Bitcoin is a gold, Ethereum is everything else.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with absolutely everything you've said there. Yeah, it's interesting times. I mean, I think so, it is going to be regulatory clarity around these assets for, you know, the big players. What I've also find quite exciting about Ethereum is, you know, we've seen over the last year some of the mavericks, you know, some of the more adventurous entrepreneurs come in and take you know, sizable positions in Bitcoin. They, like everyone else, are going through a learning curve. And if I look at my own journey in the space, I was a hardcore Bitcoin maximalist for nearly 4 years. It was only when I started doing the show with Stefano that I got a real schooling in everything else happening in the space. So, you know, I'm somewhat of a newcomer to ETH and, you know, or this other innovation in the blockchain space. So, you know, I'm really only sort of 18 months into that, whereas I've had 6 years in Bitcoin. But what I think, if I look at my own journey, I think so many of these other people are going to go through it as well. You understand Bitcoin, you get that, you get the store of value, the digital gold narrative, but I think, you know, the big investors are looking for protocols for projects where there is adoption, there is value in the network. You know, we're seeing that with Axie. We're seeing that, you know, right across the board in the NFT space. So I think the flood of money that's going to come into ETH, especially when it becomes a deflationary asset, I think there's going to be a clamber to own 32 Ethereum. if I'm not at that point yet. I'm probably spread too thinly across a number of other asset classes, but doing what I do with the media channel, I think it's I allocate to other projects more, many instances just to be able to talk about them, try them out, etc. But owning 32 ETH is absolutely a priority for myself, and I think it should be for everyone as well. I think operating as a node, having 32 Ethereum moving forward, being able to run a business with that is going to be huge. So I think at the moment, if we look at the price appreciation in ETH over the last week, it has outperformed. Well, in fact, let's have a look before I run my mouth off on that. Yeah, I'm surprised actually. I know you're not a massive fan of Manic there, Baloo, for various reasons, some emotional. But if we look at ETH up, what do we got? Yeah, rough 10% over the last week. But it really has outperformed some of the other big players. When you look at the Solanas, all of them actually. Even Polygon's actually gone backwards in the same period. So ETH is starting to feel to me like something big's about to happen here.
Yeah,
I feel it in my
I
bones.
agree. I share the same sentiment. I think if the market needs to decide on a price based on fundamental value and intrinsic value, there is so much potential and real world use case of Ethereum, especially 5 years from now when nobody talks about ETH fees anymore. When ETH fees are just like, wait, you were talking about fees? What are fees? When fees become what are fees? Oh my God. It's going to be absolutely insane because, that is the topic of discussion for all of the competitors. Speed, fees, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. This is early tech. And when we get to that point, like all of the devs, all of the dApps, all of the adoption, it's all happening. I use these, conclusive words like all and everything. I realize that there's other dApps out there, but the majority by a large, significant margin is all happening on Ethereum.
Yeah.
And, if you want to invest in a competitor, that's fine. Or you want to use it as a hedge against Ethereum, that's fine. But when we look at the facts that we have today, right now, everything's on Ethereum. And
I totally agree. And as much as I love, I've got investments in Polkadot. I came out of Kasama recently. I made a nice trade on that. It was a sort of medium term swing trade. I still hold things like Algo, AMP, etc. I'm sort of at a point, I like what's happening with Axie, and I kind of want to simplify my life a wee bit for a period here. And for me, with the confidence, the educated bet for me is just moving a lot of my other tokens into Ethereum. Yes, I could probably do better swing trades or some of these others, but I'm just starting to see ETH outperforming a lot of the other ones. In the past you'd see ETH go up 2%. A Polygon or the other sort of major alts would outperform it by a factor of 1 or 2. It's not really seeing that happen at the moment. I find that very interesting. We've got EIP 1559 happening on the 4th of August. It's just going to get people focused. Now, look, we could also, there could be a lot of negatives out of that as well. We could see more saber rattling from miners, but I think they all know what's going on now. I think maybe a lot of the pullback we've seen in ETH was the FUD around that. I doubt that'll spark up again this month. I think everyone knows what's going on. I don't think there'll be a contentious hard fork. A couple of months ago, I was talking, that could happen. Doesn't really seem to be on the cards now.
Yeah.
So, ETH's going to be the talk of the town for the foreseeable future here. We all know what Bitcoin does. Yes,
Yeah.
great if we see these other countries adopt it, make it legal tender, etc. But the action is for me on ETH this year, and that's where a lot of my attention is going to be.
I agree.
For
All we do on this show is agree with each other. Back and forth agreeing.
If you would like to come on the show and argue with us, because people like watching arguments, hit us up.
We would love to have you on.
It's true, actually. We should find some dissenting voices. Somebody actually I put a tweet out saying we would go live, and could we look at what charts would you like us to look at? And one that I actually are you able to bring up a chart that you probably don't even look at and tell us what you think of it?
Yeah, sure.
BSV, a fork of Bitcoin. BSV, Bitcoin SV.
Oh, BSV. Yes.
I actually spent a lot of time and money when this launched. I went and met all the people involved. It's without a doubt the most hated community in the crypto space, and they hate everyone else. Which is actually why I stopped following it. It was just too mentally taxing. I got a lifetime ban from the BTC Reddit channel for even talking to those guys, which I found pathetic. And it was the last nail in the coffin of me even coming close to being a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't hold any BSV anymore, but look, I was impressed with the caliber of a lot of the developers and the things that were going on there, but I'm not really hearing a lot out of it anymore. But I will get you to look at the chart for us. There you go. We accommodate all requests or most requests.
It's it's sideways with a very slight uptrend. If I'm gonna be completely unbiased here and give you a little bit of bullish analysis, we are making a slight uptrend. So I really question the validity of its future personally, but I've got some serious mental blocks to overcome to give you an unbiased opinion on this project. Technically speaking, over time it increases in value. That's what I can tell you is over time, the base level does seem to be going up. I don't think it's really a clear winner against Bitcoin, and the easiest way for you to make that comparison is just forget about the US dollar chart and go to the Bitcoin chart.
It doesn't compete against BTC, and this is something that's completely lost on most people. It's really a competitor to Ethereum, but I'm not really aware of a hell of a lot of adoption or things happening on it.
It has smart contracts.
Look, as I say, I haven't followed it for close to a year now, so I believe they're building in something along those lines. But I'm sure we'll get plenty of comments on that.
It's flattened out against Bitcoin. If you're ever looking at a project and you want to know what the market thinks about it, all you do is, if you can find the pair, just go against that pair. So if you are the person that says Bitcoin, Bitcoin SV is better than Bitcoin, all you do is look at BSV/BTC. And if it's going up, you're right. If it's going down, you're wrong. And right now, it's been going down for a very long time. It is relatively flat at this most current point, but it is what it is, and
it's a funny one because the actual the BSV token is a token you use, so the velocity of money, so to speak, there is very high, whereas BTC is something you're not looking to spend. It's a store of value, so the velocity is very low, hence the price goes up. Whereas with BSV, you use it for now. Yeah, absolutely. The tokenomics always sort of confuse me a wee bit on BSV, but there you go. The people that asked for that, hope that keeps you happy. Stop trolling me now, please.
We're making, it made a higher low and it's flat on Bitcoin. Okay. There. So if it starts to go up, then, it starts to go up.
Yes. So, look, I won't keep you too long today, fella. I know you've got the vid,
Right.
so you need to go and rest up. Yeah. So, how's your new life in Indonesia? Any comments on that?
Well, it's come with a bit of a welcome package.
Yeah.
Um, some financial difficulties with the just a different financial infrastructure on this side of the world. So I've been struggling with my North American based financial infrastructure, and they just introduced a 18-day lockdown. So we're all kind of locked inside. Not that I can go
Oh,
out anyways.
right.
So it's been a transition, um, and it's got its pros and cons. I can't wait for me to be allowed to leave my villa and then go out and enjoy everything that this beautiful island has to offer. But
Mm.
until then, I'll just hang out, look at charts, and order some Gojek.
There you go. You've got a nice villa and even nicer girlfriend. So if
Yeah,
you're going to be locked up, that's a good thing. I got locked
wife.
up 6 months in
Yeah,
Singapore with a cat.
yeah.
That was no fun.
No.
Now I'm in New Zealand, pretty much the only place on the planet where no masks, no COVID, no restrictions, but I don't know anyone here, so I barely leave the house.
Mm. Oh, that's the
I
way they want
literally
it. Damn
barely
it.
leave the house.
Right.
So somewhere in the middle would be fantastic. Okay, mate.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to discuss today or share with the audience before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's all on my end.
Yeah, cool. Well, listen, to the community, I'll be back here Friday. I'll have a number of other Axie teams. I'm sure Baloo's going to start breeding again, especially if you're locked up for 18 days. Nothing else to do but breed. So keep those teams rolling. Thank you to the community managers. I see Jazzy in here. She does such a great job for us. Jazzy, I'm about to hit you up to help me with my teams as well. So expect a nudge from me tomorrow. Baloo, thanks, mate, for getting on, especially with the virus. But you're looking good,
Well,
mate.
nothing else to do.
Looks like
Let's
you've
produce
already fought
content.
it off.
Yeah.
How long have you had it?
I think I'm at day 5, day
Okay.
4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll be fine tomorrow.
Right. And what was the
Yeah.
worst of it? What?
The worst of it was I had one night where I had some cold sweats in the night, but other
Right.
than that, there was my case was very mild. I don't need to go into the details, but it wasn't terrible.
Okay. Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. All right, mate. I'll catch up with you in the next day or two. But thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate that, and thank you all for watching. I'll be back here tomorrow with Baloo's friend Leanne and Jesse, and on Friday for the Axie Stroke Gaming Show. We'll be live with Stefano and Jordan. We'll be giving away teams on that show. People, so get along if you're looking for one. And thank you all for supporting the channel, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers now.